Hey guys, it's Drea. Today I'm very excited because I have a collab video for you. I am collaborating with Katie Marie on YouTube. She also has an amazing Instagram. I've been following her on Instagram and YouTube for quite a while. She comes up with amazing content. I want to show you something because I was just like double checking our messages and stuff, and I was looking at her Instagram. Here, I want you to see how much color is on this Instagram. Look at how colorful this is. She loves color. It's so exciting. Her Instagram is really cool. So we decided to both do our if you can only keep 10 palettes tag. I don't even know if this is a tag. I don't think it's a tag. It's just an idea that a few people have been doing. It's been circulating for a while. This is basically, out of your entire eyeshadow collection, if you can only keep 10, which ones would you keep? Now I'm really excited to see Katie's because she is like the queen of indie makeup. I almost know nothing about indie makeup. The only indie brands I really have are ones that have kind of become mainstream, if you feel me on that one. But she really knows indie makeup. If you want to kind of delve into that world, which I've definitely been thinking about a lot, go check out her channel. She has so many different palettes from different brands that you probably never heard of before, but she has fully reviewed. So I definitely can't wait to go see her video. Go check it out. I'll link it down below. I'll link to her page, like her YouTube page, her Instagram, and the actual video, so you can just kind of take a look at her content and go subscribe and tell her that I sent you. And if you've come here from her channel, welcome. So glad to have you. My name is Drea. I sporadically put up videos. There's been so many more videos during this quarantine, but I sporadically put up videos. Let's just jump into it. I'm gonna start out with the palette that is just a joy to put on all the time. And part of the reason I put this in here is because I get compliments every single time I wear this. And it's kind of a palette that is not popular, that is not talked about very much. This is the Violet Voss Coral Crush palette. This came out, I want to say like last summer, and you know, a few people talked about it on YouTube. Maybe like a few PR packages got sent out, but there really wasn't a lot of attention. I didn't actually purchase this until I happened to be in a Sephora and was able to swatch it, and that's when I really fell in love with it. But every single time I wear this, people go crazy. I get so many compliments when I'm at work wearing this, and I just love it. Obviously, now I always say this, and it's such an obvious thing to say, but this is a coral palette. Like, there's some coral palettes out there that lean very pink, but this one actually looks coral. Like, there's so much orangey pink in this. There's so many mattes. There's a lot of variety in here. It's not just a small palette. So you do have quite a variety of mattes, some deeper tones, nice yellow, some good transitions, and then lots of options for lid shades. Two of my favorite lid shades in here are Peachy and Tiger Lily. They are both stunning. Peachy, well, actually both of these are really the reason I bought this palette, but in particular this shade, I'm keeping the door open because people like the bird sounds, but then you get truck sounds, so we'll just deal with it. Oh, and there was a screaming child earlier today. So here's Peachy and here's Tiger Lily. Peachy looks to me very much like the Tarte Chrome Shadow pot in Frosé, but I love both of these. They're so shimmery, so shiny. Such a nice like spring and summertime palette too, so it's very appropriate right now, this time of year, if that's what you're looking for. Next, one of my favorite brands for eyeshadow, doesn't matter, high-end, drugstore, whatever, is BH Cosmetics. There's a couple BH palettes in here. I could not do this idea, this 10 palettes, without including this palette, because I feel like this isn't the BH palette that started it for me, but this is the one where I was like blown away. So this is the original Zodiac palette. Now, first of all, it is absolutely beautiful to look at. There's a huge mirror, flips all the way around, and it's just stunning to look at. Like, this is a great design. You got a highlighter in the middle. All of these are your matte shades, and all of these are your baked shadows. And I think there's going to be kind of a through line through this entire video, and it's going to be the fact that all of these palettes are easy to blend and have a lot of pigment, and that's what this is. So these mattes, surprisingly, like, you might think BH, like what's so great about them, but these mattes, they show up and they blend effortlessly. That's the best thing. And then these baked shadows, okay, I want to get a couple like really vibrant ones for you so you can really see. I've done a bunch of tutorials with this palette, but they just shock me every time. Like, that's just one swipe. All of those are just one swipe. So this is such a fun palette to use. It's also really fun for kind of coming up with ideas outside of the box that you might not have thought of, because you might go, okay, I'm just going to create a look around Aries today. And I never normally would reach for like a blue shade like that, but it does help me in particular to kind of step out of my box and do different things. So I really appreciate this palette. It's a little bit bulky, it's a little bit big, but whatever. We all have like big palettes in our collection. Okay, next one I wanted to talk about. I feel like I've beaten this one to death on my channel, but it's just so good. I can't help it. This is the BH Cosmetics Hangin in Hawaii palette, and this one, everything I said about the Zodiac, it goes like times 10 for this. The mattes in here are so easy to use. So easy to use. And the metallic shades are just like knock me over type shades. Like, I wanted to say something dirty there, but we'll keep it PG. Here's a couple of my favorites. The mattes in here are just spectacular, and they are so easy to use. Do you ever have trouble and you're like struggling with a palette and you just can't get shades to blend into other shades, and it's just like a difficult time? Sometimes I do that when I'm forcing myself to use things in my collection, and then I'll use something like this and it's just like, I don't know, you know, like Cinderella when like the glitter comes down and like she just transforms. That's what it's like. It's just so easy and it's beautiful. So love this one. I don't know if it's sold out on their website, but BH is the kind of company that their stuff is always popping up like in Winners and TJ Maxx after the fact. So if you didn't get your hands on this, just keep an eye out, because you never know when you can. It's just highly, like, it's in my top 10, so highly recommend. Okay, this is exciting because I actually think this is actually considered an indie brand still, and so I feel like I can kind of like sit with the cool kids with like Katie and like hang out with my indie makeup. This is Kaleidos. Okay, this is the Futurism 1 Sci-Fi green. I really hope that Kaleidos comes out with more palettes like this. I also have the Astro Pink, and there was a third one, but it's very neutral, and I know they've come out with like very neon. Not my cup of tea, but I just hope they keep coming out with more, because they're just so good. This one is amazing. So first of all, the packaging, the only thing I don't like actually is this, but whatever, we can forgive that. The packaging is really cool. It's magnetic, it opens in thirds, and you've got a mirror, and it's just so pretty to look at. Okay, this one is so grungy, like, right? It's just greens and like a little bit of warmth and yellow over here, and then a black. Normally I don't really appreciate blacks in a palette, but this one I don't mind. I usually get the same type of look out of this when I use it, but again, I don't mind because I just love the looks I get out of this. So I'm just gonna swatch you 4 of them. I won't swatch the black. We all know what black looks like. So pretty. So pretty. Such a good fall palette, such a good grunge palette. The quality is there. It's absolutely stunning. Really appreciate Kaleidos quality. We'll continue to purchase from them. And then when I was kind of like pulling my palettes, first of all, I do want to say this. When I was approaching this video, I was like, how am I going to pick 10? And I thought, okay, just go through your whole collection, pull out all the ones you love. And you know what happened? The ones that I was really like, okay, do I love this or do I just like it and it's cute, whatever. The ones I pulled out that I loved, I ended up just keeping them all. There was no other ones. It equaled 10 right off the bat. I looked at my collection again and I was like, no, these are it. So that was kind of cool. I think sometimes you just go with your instinct. Anyways, the reason I'm talking about that is because the next palette is very similar to the Kaleidos one, and that's the Melt Smoke Sessions palette. This one, if you look at it, it looks kind of similar to the Kaleidos palette, especially if you go like this. That is almost the same thing, right? But I don't know, I just had to keep both. I love the quality of this one. I love these shimmers in particular, but I have done looks over here that turned out just amazing. One of my favorite colors in here is actually Black Widow, which is funny because the only reason I ever really used this color was in a bingo that I did a while back. Okay, I didn't unswatch, is that a word? I didn't take off those swatches. So let's go like this. This is Black Widow right here. Yeah, I would never normally reach for a shade like this, but I used it in a palette bingo and I loved it. Again, something like you never know, right? There's only 2 mattes in this palette. That's the only thing I don't like about it. They're both dark mattes, and I really always feel like I need some lighter mattes when I use this. But like all the green shimmer shades in here are the reason this palette is so amazing. Now today I used Sweet Tooth right in the middle kind of my eye, and I used Blue Dream right in the inner corner. They kind of blended into each other, but that's what all the blue is on my eye. And then I used another palette just for all the mattes. But these blues, I just wanted you guys to see just how gorgeous they are. You know what would be really cool? If you just put these 2 palettes together, I feel like, because then you have this brightness over here, and you also have these, like, well, this matte in particular and some lighter mattes here, and then a black. Like, that together would make a really good palette. Okay, this next one was gifted to me by my BFF Alex, and I had never tried Juvia's Place before this, and I fell in love with it, and I love this palette. It's such a favorite. It's especially a summer favorite. This is the Deuce by Juvia's. And here's what I love about this, the bright colors. So you've got a few mattes, bright like peachy pink, this nice vibrant fuchsia purple, and then you've got a nice brown and a couple kind of neutrally shades, and then you have these gorgeous metallic shades. So there are some palettes that when I reach for them, I kind of go for the same look over and over. And when I reach for this palette, it's this look. It's these 4. Like, these are the 4 that I tend to go for, and they make a gorgeous look. Obviously, there's so much more you could do with this, but this is kind of like my go-to. And it's a very, very summertime look. Very kind of similar to what I'm wearing today, actually. This is kind of a go-to look in the summer for me, too. But this is just such a good quality palette. In particular, this shade right here, which is Macarons, the first time I used this, I'll never forget it, because a lot of the time these dimethicone type metallic shades, they don't go on with a brush as well as they do with your finger. And the first time I dipped a brush into this, just a flat shade brush, and put it on my eye, I was blown away by the amount of metallicness that I still got on my eyes, which is not very common for this type of shade with a lot of brands. Colourpop is one of my favorite brands, especially their pressed eyeshadow formulas. In fact, well, besides their lipstick, they make great lipstick, but their pressed shadows are really the only eyeshadow from them I like. I don't particularly like their Super Shock eyeshadow formula, but I do love their pressed eyeshadows. So besides singles, we're only talking about palettes here, I picked both of these. So this one here is the Through My Eyes. It was the Iluvsarahii and Colourpop collab. There are 16 shades in this palette. If you look at it, this is another like really, really nice colorful palette. What it's got going on though is a little bit different than a lot of them, because it has like very, very deep emeralds. So it's actually a matte emerald, and then a nice like really vibrant metallic one right here. Then we've got a lot of neutralness in the bottom. Like if you went like this, that's just like a nice neutral palette, like summertime, right? Beautiful. It's got the beautiful, they make yellow eyeshadows really well. These nice like yellowy mattes that work so well in your crease or like a transition shade. But then there's like really deep shades like this one, which is called Divina right here, which is a really, really nice deep burgundy. And then, you know, just like your typical crow shades. I'm just gonna call these crow shades for now because it's just like, you know, shiny, gimme, I'm a crow. This one's called Mesmerize, and it's beautiful. But yeah, I like this palette because you can go deep and you can go bright. So there's 4 of the shades in that one. I will admit I haven't used this one as much as as much as I love it, I haven't used it to equal that love, if that makes sense. Like, I've swatched this palette a lot. I definitely used it a fair amount, but nowhere where like I'm coming near to hit and pan on anything. So I really do want to play with this more this year. This one is so messy. It happens with this palette. This is the Yes Please palette. When they came out, it said cute AF on the front. I'm pretty sure they now say Yes Please on the front when you get them. But this one is such a good summertime palette. This isn't a project for me, that's why there's stickers on it. But like, this is just a sunset palette. This is a perfect sunset palette. And it's, what else is there to say? It's Colourpop quality, gorgeous quality shades. What else should I swatch your hair? So like, look. So that's what you're into and you've never purchased this. I think you're missing out. I really do. At a certain point in these type of videos where you're just raving about stuff, you kind of run out of adjectives and things to say. It's like, it's pretty. Like, what more do you want from me? Anyways, love this one. Okay, moving on. I have two palettes left. This one is the Lime Crime Venus Original palette. I love Lime Crime. They are my favorite high-end formula. They are in my top probably 3 formulas of eyeshadows of all time. I would say Colourpop, BH, and Lime Crime are like my absolute favorite eyeshadow formulas. And this one in particular, even though it's kind of unassuming, it's just really pretty, kind of basic looking. The thing that I appreciate about this is that when I talk about effortless blending, that's what Lime Crime mattes are. They are effortless. And this one in particular, the shimmer shade, so this one here and this one here, those are the only ones. Well, Rebirth is kind of like a hybrid. I would say I use it as a matte a lot, but it's got this tiniest bit of shimmer to it. And same with this one here, Venus. There's not a lot of shimmer to those. There's just the tiniest bit. But when I use this, it just comes together. Like, it is so easy, and they're ultra pigmented shades. Okay, so I swatched the entire palette because there's only 8 shades here so that you can see. Obviously very warm toned. And listen, here's the thing about this one. Sometimes you don't need bells and whistles. You don't need like a bright purple and like an emerald green. Sometimes you don't need that. Sometimes what you need is something basic, but that works perfectly. This is a perfect palette. Absolutely perfect. It is not missing anything for me. I never want anything else when I am using this. It is absolutely perfect. It's got the perfect mix of mattes and shimmers. Shimmers worked gorgeously, like especially this one here, Rebirth, like actually both of them. Shell and Rebirth I put all over my lid and the pigment is there and they spread easily, all that stuff. If I want a deeper shade, I've got this one here. If I want a light shade, this is definitely a shimmer, but it can work like as a brow bone highlight still. So I just am never missing anything when I use this palette. And even though I have the big XL palettes from Lime Crime as well, I had to go with this one just because it works every single time. Like, there's no problems. Okay. 10th palette, last one. This one is my favorite palette of all time. I narrowed that down last year. Those of you that have been here, you know what it's going to be. This is the BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival palette. Out of all their festival palettes, now there are 3. This is the OG. This is the original. This is what made me fall in love. Well, I think I fell in love with BH with their Zodiac palette and a couple others, but this one just like cemented that. Like, where that was the proposal, this was the wedding. So this like cemented my love for BH. And it also made me realize how much I love color. When I purchased this palette, I feel like that's when I really stepped into my makeup personality being colorful looks. So if you go back on my channel a few years and you're like, oh, you know, the evolution of Drea's makeup, you'll see it started out very neutral and there's some experimentation here and there. I definitely had some colorful palettes, but this is when I was like, no, color is my jam. Color is my personality. You're gonna see color on my channel all the time. And I just love that about this. So again, here are 8 shades swatched. That's like not even half the palette. So, there's a video idea that I have I don't know if I'll ever do it, but it's basically makeup that makes me happy, that just gives me joy. And when I think about like happiness and where I live when it comes to makeup, it's my hobby, it's my passion, it's my community through YouTube, through you guys. When I think about how passionate I am about makeup, this is it. It's like the color, the experimentation, the artistry, the fact that I am not professional and just an enthusiast, and yet I can play around with stuff like this and come up with beautiful looks. So all the mattes on my eyes today, the brown, the pink, there's an orange mixed in there, they're all from this palette. And again, the BH formula, it's just so, like, it blends so easily. I'm like, how does BH make, I think this was a $20 palette when it first came out. How did they make a $20 palette with like foiled shades like this, mattes that are so pigmented and blend so easily, and yet like there's companies coming out with like $70 palettes that don't even touch the quality of this. So it just goes to show you that makeup is just, it's much more about experimenting with brands and colors than anything else. And I feel like this palette just, I don't want to go on and on about it, but this palette is like, I wear it on my sleeve. It's in my heart, you know? Those are my, if I could only keep 10 palettes. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for coming from Katie's channel if you did. And I'm telling you, I cannot wait to go watch her video because I really want to get into indie makeup. And I have a feeling, I can't predict this, but I just have a feeling that her video is going to be full of indie brands that I don't know anything about. So I can't wait to go see it. And also she comes up with the most beautiful looks. I was just on her Instagram this morning and she pulled out this like blue with like ice blue glitter look, and I was like, oh my god, like, it's so pretty. And she's a mom of 3 kids, like little toddlers. How does she do this? Anyways, thank you so much, Katie, for collabing with me. I am in a great mood today. I don't know, maybe it's talking about makeup that gets me there. But I hope that you guys are having a great day. I hope that you're keeping safe and happy and sane during this time. If there's anything you like I can do for you, don't forget, I'm always here. Reach out. Instagram's always the best way, but leave a comment. I love your comments, keep me sane for sure. So I appreciate that. But yeah, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope that you're speaking kindly to yourself, especially when you look in the mirror. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.